Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. So I did some more reflecting, chatting with some people, and I guess this is sort of like another it's like chill out kind of thing. Mainly because I know tensions are getting high. We have a lot of questions about what the end of the term is going to look like, what's going to happen with the paper, and that kind of stuff. And so I want to address something. So you would not believe the amount of emails and questions that I have about like APA format. Am I formatting this paper correctly? Am I getting points taken off, right? Things like that. And that's a lot of like the feedback that comes from students is like, hey, you need to follow APA format, make sure you're doing this or this part isn't incorrect, and so on, right? And like that's well and good. You are expected to use APA format, and you should use that. Really because I'm the head honcho, and that's what I want, right? Having said that, no one is going to pass or fail the paper because they didn't follow APA format. And I think like there is a sense, or I am sensing, there is some, trepidation about like, what is the right thing to do? I should do this, what about this? I get questions about, do I need an abstract? Do I need a title page? What is this about the running head? And all those are legit questions, right? Like I can answer them. And the truth is, while I do care about it in terms of, it's nice to have the abstract so I have an idea of like how this paper is structured. It's nice to have the heading and subheading structure. I prefer that. It's nice having the references like that and following it for it because it makes it easier for me to track and follow. And that's really the only thing I really care about. I don't really care about the running head part. I don't really care about, like the title page as much. It's nice, but it's not great. I care about the headings, subheadings, the references, reference structure. That's it. The part that I'm concerned about, though, is that more often than not, I receive questions about formatting as if that is the make or break for the paper, and it's not. The make or break for the paper is going to be the content, the delivery, the explanation, how things are structured. Are you meeting the criteria that's established in the rubric, and so on. And so I will say this again. More often than not, right? I look at the formatting, it's important, but I'm really focused on the content because that is what is going to best demonstrate someone's, mastery of the knowledge, right? The formatting, again, is just like, it's like a little bit of ribbon, on a Christmas gift, right? Like you get a Christmas gift, yeah, it's a cool wrapping paper. You see someone with a bow, right? It's like, ooh, that looks really nice, right? Does that change, like the contents of the gift, right? Whether it's good or bad, right? You open it one time, right, as a kid, it's a box of coal. Like, oh, well, I mean, it was wrapped with a pretty bow. There's like coal on the side, right? Like, it's a stupid gift. We're wrap inside, and then if you're like me, right, and someone's like, hey, like I got you a bunch of like film for your film camera, and or, if it's something like, hey, I remember you saying that, your hands get cold while you run, so I got you some running gloves. It was really put like a lot of thought and care, right? Make sure that if you are spending time on wrapping up this gift, right, your paper, you're focusing on the content and making sure like what's inside matters, it is good, rather than just focusing on the format. Make sure that you have mastered the content because like at the end of the semester, right, if you are in a position where you feel like you want to contest your grade or you say that and you come at me with like, well, I followed APA formatting, like that's fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm not changing your grade because of the formatting, right? I'm not going to be like, oh, well, this person deserves more credit. Again, please make sure you're focusing on the content of the paper. That will make or break you for this course, for that paper, for everything else. So, also, yet another reminder, please, please, please do not overly stress about this paper in this class. I know it's easy to get, mired down in some like negative thoughts and to feel like you can't succeed because of this, because it's, this is like the stepping stone to get into the main major. While all that is true, keep in mind, this is just a box check, right? Just whatever your performance is in this class, whether if you end up passing and you're like, oh man, I got a C-, I'm really sucky as a student. That's not what that means. Every faculty member knows this class is difficult. We frequently have conversations about the difficulty of the class. We frequently talk about better ways to teach the content material to students. And Later on, when you are in upper level division classes, like if you took policing with yours truly, or stats or research methods, no one's gonna be like, well, you're one of those students before, right? I've had many students who have taken theory with me and maybe didn't perform as well as they wanted to, but they passed, and they're like A students in all the other classes, right? It's the content is difficult, but keep in mind, like whatever your performance in this class does not reflect to you as a student or your ability to succeed in other courses, right? This is just a barrier. That's all it is. Don't overly fret. All you got to do, right, is perform well enough to check the box, move on, and go on with your life, right? Don't get more emotionally invested other than that, right? You want to do well, right? It's important for GPAs. If you want to go to grad school, law school, or whatever, like all that's important, right? But keep in mind, right, we do treat a CE as like your expected performance, right? And we're like, as a professor, we're like, oh, that seems perfectly fine, right? It's the rare exception for someone to do extremely well in a class. So, I mean, if you feel like, you're middling or something like that, don't, because like that's where you should be, right? That is the expectation for this class. So try not to bog down with, like your final grade in the class, right? Because all we care about is like, did you pass? Yes or no? Great, you passed, move on, right? All of you are capable of doing it. You just have to be willing to set aside the time, the effort, and the energy to do that. Don't get bogged down in the negative thoughts. Persevere, stay resilient. All of you have already have probably done better than students in past times did it because you're doing it with a new learning format. It's all online. There's a lack of student connection. There's a lack of faculty connection. All of you have overcome a lot of challenges to get here. Try not to add on to it, right? Because you have all the stuff in the external world and stuff like that. Try not to overly focus on the paper. Just do enough to get by or do a little bit better, but make sure you are hitting the content mastery and not focusing on the formatting. No one's going to think poorly of you if you taking this course, right? Many people retake, they retake and they do just fine. It's not a big deal. Just do it, just take the time and effort needed to do that. So anyway, hopefully, this is not seen as too rah-rah, but if it is, I don't really care, right? That's your problem. Point being is you'll be okay, breathe, and just make it through this last month, right? We got less than a month to go. Power through, get this over with, and take the long winter's nap. But for then, I'll stop now. I'll say deuces, y'all, and I'll talk to y'all later.